You're a weird kid.
How dare you?
How dare
Today I am back in the St. Louis area and I have stumbled upon a place called the Neutral Zone. Now the Neutral Zone is located inside of a mall, a dying mall. Like seriously, the entire lower level of this mall has been converted into pickleball courts. And most of this mall seems empty, like it was dark, the lights were off, it was pretty wild. These malls are just not what they once were, but there are a few stores hanging on. There's a movie theater still upstairs that was pretty lively, and the Neutral Zone is here, so let's check it out. Now the Neutral Zone is actually a hybrid toy store and arcade. It's one of those places where you can pay a flat fee and then go in and enjoy unlimited arcade games. You don't have to pump quarters in, you can just go in and play them. And actually that makes up the large majority of this store space. And there's a lot of arcade machines packed in here, so honestly, if you're looking for video games, you've got an afternoon to kill, this does look like a really fun place to do that. So the toy store section is actually pretty small in comparison to the arcade, but there's still some fun stuff in here and I am ready to do some digging. So right away I see a shelf that has pegs filled with Masters of the Universe and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, my two favorite things. And while I'm looking through here, honestly, nothing is really standing out to me, nothing that I specifically need. A lot of the Ninja Turtles that are in here are from the 2012 era of the brand, and a lot of the Motu figures that are in here are from the current Origins line. There are some vintage figures mixed in here, but I mean, these are like the two lines I focus on most, so there's really not a lot left that I need when it comes to this sort of thing, so nothing here is jumping out at me today. Oh, but here we go. There's actually a pretty big section of G.I. Joe figures, and that's sort of a new venture for me. So let's dig through here and see if anything stands out. Ah, there we go, Eco Warriors, haha, 90s neon, baby. Yeah, that's the type of thing that I like to see. So this guy's name is Ozone. Honestly, pretty cool. Love the helmet, love the bright colors. I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna grab any of the Eco Warriors. They're a bit on the weird side, but I love weird. But honestly, I'm flipping through all these loose G.I. Joe figures, and there are just a lot of designs that I really love. And I've talked about this in past toy hunts. A lot of cool looking Joe figures out there. And this one, oh, Big Boa. So this one is actually on my list. He is one that I want to add to the collection. However, when I get him, I would really like to get one with gloves, so I'll pass on this one today. But he's on the list. Uh-oh, G.I. Joe Extreme? I hadn't even considered that I might want to buy some of these. Buckle up, everybody. My G.I. Joe collecting journey is going to drive a lot of you insane.
G.I. Joe! It's the all-new G.I. Joe Extreme. Bigger, bolder, and battle-ready. Lieutenant Stone leads the all-new Joes with Ultra Slam firepower against the evil Iron Claw and his Scar forces. Scar's Bone Splitter tank is brutal, but the 2-in-1 Sand Striker strikes back with long-distance Scar resistance.
Battle damage!
Extreme times call for extreme heroes. It's the all-new G.I. Joe Extreme. Figures and vehicles each sold separately.
Okay, honestly, this line is not all that appealing to me. The scale and style change makes it feel less like G.I. Joe and more like they're trying to be like a lot of the other 90s figures like X-Men, and it's just not as exciting. Now, Iron Claw here is probably the best design in the line, and for only $3, I am kind of enticed by this figure, so maybe I will grab this one and only this one G.I. Joe Extreme figure. Hopefully that phrase doesn't come back to bite me in the future. So I'm digging through all of these loose baggied action figures here just to see if there's anything else that really stands out to me, and then I come across this little baggie of weirdos. I have never seen these before and they instantly strike me as being interesting. The figure's got the name Lunge Lizard on it, and when I'm looking at the date stamps on the bottom, I notice it says Mattel, but I have no idea what these are. So I do a little bit of quick research on my phone in the store, and I find that this is a line from Fisher-Price, released in the early 2000s called Fusion Crew.
Let's fuse! Oh my! Are you ready? Let's do it, dude. It's the Fusion Crew!
You ready to fuse?
Mix and match your own challenger to compete in the Fusion Dome!
Here's my match. Oh yeah? Watch mine.
You have chosen Tracy Lizard versus Stone!
Into the zone! I need more power!
The winner is Tracy Lizard!
Yeah! Rematch!
Fusion Dome comes with 2 figures and cards. Other figures sold separately.
So there were actually several baggies of these little figures in the store, like somebody's entire collection must have been brought in at some point. And this line is kind of intriguing. I know it's like a Fisher-Price line, so it's meant for a younger audience, but it's a cool gimmick with the mixing and mashing of the figures, creating new names, and honestly, that playset looks like a lot of fun. I'm not gonna grab any of these today, but I always love learning about new toys, so I'm kind of glad that I stumbled upon these and did a little bit of research and found that commercial. Those are pretty cool looking toys. Okay, honestly, I think that's gonna wrap up my visit to Neutral Zone. Like I said, the toy store section is small, and there wasn't a lot in there that really appealed to me as something I needed to add to my collection, but I'm not saying that there's not a lot of cool toys in there. And plus, that arcade is an added bonus, so I definitely think it's worth checking out if you happen to be in the area, because you never know what you're gonna find in a toy store.
What are you guys doing?
Riding the best ride there is.
The escalator?
Is that fun?
This is what you're doing when you're tired of daddy's toy hunting, right? Your best wife ever.
Now, as I'm heading out, I also realize that this mall has a V-Stock. If you're not familiar with V-Stock or vintage stock, this is actually a chain, and it's a store that kind of carries everything. It's like books and video games and comics and movies and yeah, toys. So since it's there in the mall, I'm gonna pop on in just to see if there's any toys that I might want to pick up today. Okay, so here's a case that's like stuffed with toy goodies. And honestly, this 100th edition Batman is actually kind of cool. I've always been a little interested in this. I mean, he's so shiny. How can you not love the vac metal on there? So I don't know, like that's interesting, but I'm not sure if that's something I actually want to grab today, but it's cool to see that there are some toys in here. In fact, as I turn away from the case, I noticed that they've actually got a pretty sizable toy collection in here. It's quite a mixture too. There's a lot of modern stuff, but there's also some vintage stuff scattered in, like some of these older McFarlane figures. I mean, I know that these are a dime a dozen these days, but if you need any of them, there's a whole bunch of them here at Vintage Stock. Oh, and there's a couple of Skeleton Warriors figures, although it's just the boring human characters. Oh, but we do have some Wildcats figures, and you know what? I do see these at a lot of stores. I gotta be honest, I'm kind of surprised I haven't pulled the trigger on buying any of these yet. I can feel the pull of Wildcats. Oh wow, a Kenner Batman animated Harley Quinn figure on card? And $17.99 actually feels like a really good price on this. So this is a really interesting find. This little vehicle is from the 2011 Thundercats line. I believe this was packed in with the Tower of Omens playset, but the reason this particular vehicle is so cool is that it definitely looks like the vintage Cats lair. So it's one of the unique accessories from the 2011 line. It's kind of random that this is just sitting here for sale by itself. I wonder where the rest of the playset is. Speaking of random, this was on the clearance table. This is a Battle Cat, a Masters Origins Battle Cat that somebody customized and painted black and white. How weird that somebody would paint this and then trade it into V-Stock and it ends up on a clearance table. There's gotta be a story here. Somebody out there has to tell me the story of the black and white Battle Cat. So yeah, there's some fun things in here, and honestly, there are a few things in this area that's catching my attention. Maybe I'll pick some more things up. But then I stumbled into the part of the store where there are shelves filled with baggied loose figures, which is weird because it's in a totally different part of the store from all the other toys we were just looking at. And I'm looking through these baggied figures and I'm seeing some fun stuff. Like the first thing I notice right off the bat is there are a few WWF Hasbros, and the prices are really low on these. I'm always looking for these guys. And then, hey, this is a Ninja Turtles figure from the 2K3 line. Wow, you don't see a lot of 2K3 Turtles out there these days. And then I'm looking around and I notice there's another one. And another one. And another one? Wow, heavy hitters here like Mozart? And then it dawned on me, somebody's entire 2003 Turtles collection must have got traded into this store, and they're in these baggies on this shelf. So now I'm diving through all these baggies, I'm pulling all these Ninja Turtles figures off, and what's amazing is that the prices on these are ranging from $2 to $3 a piece. Some of them are a little higher, like that Mozart was priced at $9.99, but the majority, they're a couple dollars. And there are quite a few of these on the shelf that you can choose from, so I'm like pulling them all off, I'm putting them on the floor, I'm making myself a pile, I'm trying to see what I might need. I'm trying to remember which ones I have at home. This is so exciting that you kind of start getting a little frantic, like, oh my god, I can't believe I stumbled across all of this. Hey, there's also some 2003 Masters figures on here. I just found Serpent Claw Man-at-Arms, which honestly, I don't know if I have a loose one of these at home. And there's a Masters of the Universe Origins repaint coming out based on this figure, so I need it for comparison time, right? I also found a Serpent Tracker Mechaneck in there, although his arm is unfortunately broken off. But it's really interesting. I mean, these have got to all be from the same collection, right? Just all traded into this store. This is really amazing, and this is one of those like exciting moments as a toy collector where all of a sudden you have found a bunch of really cool toys for really good prices, and you start panicking. Like, I gotta scoop these up. So I went ahead and I did go through my pile. I picked out what I felt was a reasonable amount of these and went up to pay for them, where I found out that they were also on sale. So I paid even less than those price tags had on there. I got some pretty good stuff. And now I'm wondering if I should have just bought them all. With that being said, here's today's haul. Alright, so from the neutral zone, I picked up that G.I. Joe Extreme Iron Claw. Man, he was only $3, and he's kind of a cool looking figure, but you know what? These just don't really do it for me. I'm not sure I'm going to pick up any more of these in the future. This one's still cool though. Alright, and then from vintage stock, I went ahead and picked up that Serpent Claw Man-at-Arms. There's no accessory, but the figure is still really nice. I couldn't beat that price, and hey, I'm gonna need him for comparison time at some point. And then from that TMNT stack, I only picked out the ones that I really thought that I needed. So here is what I ended up getting. I got the giant Mouser because, man, this is just a cool looking figure. Really happy to grab this one. And you can never have too many foot soldiers, right? So I grabbed another one of those guys to add to the collection. This is the Mutations Shredder from the 2K3 line, and I got this one specifically because I liked the idea of being able to display him as a Rokosaki. Now, when I started doing the mutation after I bought him, I realized there's some missing parts. Like, there's supposed to be the Shredder spiked shoulder pads and the arms, and also the helmet is there, but it is tore off the little strap that's supposed to fold it back into his back. But regardless of that, he's still a cool figure, and he still displays well, especially as a Rokosaki. And then I went ahead and grabbed this Triceraton and Mozart the Triceraton, which is a heavy hitter from this line in my opinion. I was really happy to find these two Triceratons there. And now that I'm looking at my haul when I'm back at home, I'm sitting here doing that thing where I'm like, man, I should have just bought all those turtles. You just like... Why didn't I? I don't know. Well, those are all left for you guys to go pick up if you're in the area, if they're still there. I don't know. It's been a few weeks actually since I've been there now. Hey guys, thank you so very much for watching another episode of Toy Hunting with Pixel Dan. I hope you really enjoyed this video. Hope you've been enjoying this series. I want to give a very special thanks to all of my supporters over on Patreon. Thank you guys so much for the extra support. And hey, if you guys are in a position to help this channel out, you can join the Patreon. It'll give you early access to content just like this. It'll give you access to the Discord server so you can chat toys. But if you can't, that's totally cool. I don't care how you're choosing to support this channel, even if it's just by watching and liking and commenting. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you all so much. Happy hunting, my friends, and until next time.